Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review of the new Netflix TV series. This is a comedy, Running Point. My plan was originally to just do a review of episode one and then try to watch the rest of the show. But actually, I was very engrossed with the show. So I just kind of kept watching with that. I forgot to make the original video and I just kind of kept watching. So now I got through the whole season. I believe there's 10 episodes. Um, and they're all like 30 minutes each. So this is not it's not a big commitment, but it was still interesting that I just went through all of it. Like my plan was not to go ahead and binge Running Point, but the show is engrossing. It's entertaining enough to it's not it's definitely not background television. Like I was invested in the stories, but it's also not something that had my full attention. I would say I was like at maybe 80% attention to the show, 20% just kind of having it on in the house and doing other stuff. But it's still very, very interesting. So we'll talk about it. So you can maybe we can figure out what led me to just keep watching. Running Point, like I mentioned, new comedy Netflix series premiered on February 27th, so just last week. Created by Mindy Kaling, Ike Barinholtz, Elaine Coe, and David Stassen. The show is a humorous look into the world of professional basketball management. So when I first saw the premise, I was like, "Oh, is this gonna be like a Succession style show?" Especially because I didn't know anything about the show other than Kate Hudson is our lead. So like, I was like, Kate Hudson could be leading, like trying to go into the drama, but pleasantly surprised that this was actually a comedy. The series centers around Isla Gordon, played by Kay Hudson, who unexpectedly becomes the president of the LA Waves basketball team after her brother Cam steps down after a scandal. Despite being overlooked in the past, Isla seizes the opportunity to prove her capabilities in the male dominated sports industry. Throughout the season, she navigates challenges from skeptical family members, team dynamics, and personal relationships. All this while trying to lead the Waves to success and a playoff win. So, yeah, it's a very interesting premise. Isla's dad was the owner, and then her brothers have always been in charge of parts of the business. She's been a part of the business as well after a rough patch in her own life, but it was really not a major role. So she kind of gets catapulted into this role. So it's really interesting. Let's talk about the cast a little bit. As I mentioned, Kate Hudson is Isla Gordon. She's the ambitious new president of the LA Waves. I'll talk about the whole not being the NBA thing in a little bit. Drew Tarver is Sandy Gordon, Isla's younger brother, younger half brother. He's also the chief financial officer. Um, you may recognize him from the other two. I think that comedy show from Comedy Central slash Max. I don't know. It ended up being on Max, I think. We also have Scott MacArthur as Nez Gordon. He's the second older brother and also the GM of the Waves. So he was a basketball player and ended up working in the team as general manager. Brenda Song, one of my favorite characters, is Ali Lee. She's Isla's best friend and the chief of staff for the Waves. Fabricio Guido is Jackie Moreno, the recently discovered younger half brother of the Gordon siblings. So he's like, Gordon's love child that ends up. It's really confusing how he gets there, but we do get there. And then, of course, we have Chet Hanks as Travis Bug. He's a problematic point guard for the team. Toby Sanderman as Marcus Winfield, a long time star player of the Waves. Jay Ellis is the coach. Jay Brown and Justin Theroux as Cam Gordon, the eldest brother who was temporarily steps down as president. So that's really really interesting. And then also Max Greenfield as Lev, who is Isla's fiance and a pediatrician. There is a lot of really talented and funny people in the show. I would say like 7 out of 10 jokes really landed for me. The other ones were either just not my style, or maybe they were even kind of mean or offensive. I think that was my major issue with the show. I feel like, specifically the character of Jackie, I feel like he was the butt of a lot of jokes. I it just didn't that didn't fully vibe with me, but I think that they do such a good job. Like Kate Hudson, especially. Like I didn't watch a lot of her movies, like the romantic comedy, so I didn't really know how good she was at like this kind of comedic type of role. And it's serious and there's a lot going on, but when it counts, like in those moments of where you need the levity, like she really comes through. And then, like I said, everyone around her is just great. Brenda Song is just like so good as her best friend slash chief of staff. Like she just is really fun. She's kind of like the serious person in the relationship, but they play off so well off of each other, and it's really nice to see Brenda Song back on TV. Especially if you grew up in the Nickelodeon era, it's really funny. I did end up watching. I think his Mythical Kitchen does those last meal videos. I watched hers because she was promoting this show, and she just mentioned that it was great to work on this. Um, I think I've seen some mixed reviews for this, but to me, I really enjoy the show. There is no way I wasn't having a good time if I wanted to always go to the next episode and keep checking out the story. I think the story was interesting, and although there were some things that became very clear, like this was not a mystery, right? Like there were some things that were planted on early that I knew were gonna come to fruition later on, but like that was not a surprise. Like I was, this show's never trying to trick you into like, ooh, what's gonna happen next, where's the next turn. It's really just trying to show you like, can Isla get over the next obstacle, and can she navigate through this new problem, right? And also, can the family become a family? Like, will this bring them closer? Will this drive them apart? We kind of explore all those avenues. So all that, like I said, with a lot of moments of levity, and a lot of moments of heart too, like just really nice people hashing out feelings in their relationship. Uh, but like I said, I think I wish the character of Jackie had a little bit more to do other than his role is just weird. It's just really weird. But Yeah, other than that, the only other thing that I found really interesting was that obviously this show didn't partner with the NBA, so like they're not using any real teams. So it's always really funny to me. It feels like all the team names that we end up hearing in the show, even the LA Waves, it was like the like they just drafted a list of possible team names and never came back to update it. um and although that's not the biggest part of it, like it's really funny, right? Like I just think that uh suspending my disbelief in that the fact that this could be the real league, because they treat it as if it is the NBA. They just don't really say NBA or use any of the team logos. You don't see any cameos for any professional athletes. I don't think you do. So they really are completely separated, and probably because it would cost more money, right, to make a show that licenses some likenesses or NBA people. So that would be interesting. And there are a few things, like there are a few cameos from real sports people, like commentators and stuff like that. But as far as actual NBA stars or teams or references to that, none of that. The show really takes it sits in its own little world where that is the league that exists. But they never even mention the name of the league, which is also very funny. Um, I think the all the basketball players that are introduced, like the ones that are named characters, they make sense. Like this was a fun ensemble for that. So whether it's problems on the court, off the court, like problems with the family, like they're all interesting to solve for the most part. So yeah, I think this show for me stands kind of at a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. I would say I would like to actually try to rewatch some of the episodes, because there was some really fun stuff, some stuff that's worth digging into. Um, but then there's, like I said, also some jokes that fall flat. And I never really watched The Mindy Project, which I know is another show that I believe both Kaling and Bernholtz were involved with, not only in front of the camera but behind. And I don't really have any reference for the other writers or the other creators of the show. Also, very interesting that four people would create one show. I don't even know how that would works. So yeah, interesting stuff. But I had a good time overall. I recommend it. Like this is definitely, if you're looking for a little bit of laughter and some levity, yeah, you could probably check out Running Point. And I think if you get hooked in the first two episodes, I would say you're probably in for a good ride for the next eight. I believe it's 10 episodes total. So, and like I said, they're 30 minutes, good chunk size episodes. Like watch one, take a break, keep going. So I didn't watch everything in like in a row, but I did binge them over like maybe 3 or 4 days. So if you've seen this show, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here on the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.